My name is Brett Steinberg. I'm a musician, singer-songwriter, producer from Connecticut. I'm in the band Kalimur, along with the band Chasing Moonlight. And honestly, music is everything to me. It's one of the major reasons I'm inspired to get up and make something new that I could put out into the world. This is my story. Well, I got into music around 8th grade. I picked up the piano and the guitar. I had lessons in piano when I was in like 2nd grade, but it was Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I just wasn't totally about that kind of music. I was always into kind of, the first time that I heard music that I was really into it was like Vanessa Carlton, like kind of like piano pop rock ballads. So flash forward to 8th grade, and I would sing Billy Joel with my mom a little bit on and off, so she knew I could sing, and she ended up convincing me to try out to sing the national anthem for like our field day. Did that, ended up getting into it. The same year, I started taking lessons just at my middle school for piano and guitar, and just learned a couple chords, but that was enough for me to say, okay, this is really cool that in terms of the realm of pop music, you can learn a couple chords and know how to play 5 songs, of your favorite artists. So I learned those chords, and then it was a lot of experimentation, and I would start to learn how to write music as I learned what the chords that I was playing were. So I would just kind of form notes together that sounded good, write a chord progression, and then luckily my mom plays a lot of piano, a little bit of guitar, and she would look at what I was doing and say, that's a C minor chord, and then I would just kind of run with that. And you just kind of you start building your repertoire, and you just piece things together. And it's, to this day, the creative process is probably my favorite part about music in general, because you walk into, whether it's the music building where there are pianos or, just your home studio, and you start creating. And, when I was in 8th grade was discovering a C minor chord is now discovering that there was a song inside of me that, I finally got out. There's a message that maybe I didn't even know that I wanted to say. And you start kind of just building this vibe, and that kind of facilitates having a voice, and that's really cool for me. He's lost his crown, and I know I'm not the only lost soul. I know there's life beyond. Yeah, I would say that the creative parts are my favorite, but at the same time, it all kind of feeds into, each other, because what is really fun to play live can kind of feed into, I want to write more in the same vein of a song that would land really well at a live show. And you kind of also, it's a kind of a feedback loop of inspiration. You play a great show, and then you can't wait to get back in the studio and make something new that you can share with people, and kind of vice versa. But I will say that creating something from scratch is the coolest thing, because for me, there's just a lot of purpose to walking into a space and, and creating something that didn't exist before. There's an element of spontaneity. There's an element of really finding inspiration out of nothing. That, as much as a live show also does, when you're in the studio, especially when I'm collaborating with Alessandro, who's my bandmate in Chasing Moonlight, if you can find that spark, it really takes you into another place. But I will say live shows are also one of my favorite places to be in. When you can connect with an audience and there's just that energy that just gets bigger and bigger every song that you do, it takes you to that other place. Sleepwalk, you can't find no peace if pressure never stops. With Kalimur, which is which is one of my bands, right now that's actually a solo project, but it's kind of became this interesting thing that right now it's just kind of a moniker for whatever music I'm creating and putting out. But the catalyst of it was basically I did a solo project for about 4 years, and then my best friend Tyler Burkich, who's now in a project called Between Giants, which is really great, basically said to me, I would love to be in a band. I just want to help you kind of furthered the vision that you have for where the project can go, and I think it could sound really cool live if you had other musicians kind of playing it with you. So we started that, found other players, really went hard under the same lineup for about a year and a half, 2 years, and that was great. I mean, I have a lot of admiration for all the players that I got to collaborate with. One thing after another kind of happened, and right now it's a solo project, but again, it's kind of this cool, open-ended project right now where I'm instead of going back to kind of just Brett Steinberg, the solo thing, I like the idea of the moniker. It leaves it open to finding other musicians, making it bigger than just a singer-songwriter thing. Because I think the songs that I write and the sound that we've produced so far with Kalimur does feel bigger than just me.
Take closure in illusions of the spotlight, the spotlight.
You can find both Kalimur and Chasing Moonlight on Spotify, Apple Music, Instagram, Facebook. I would love to keep in touch with anybody watching this, and connecting with people that we can kind of share this experience with is one of the best parts of doing this. So feel free to say hi.
If you only believed in luck, this is gonna change you.